Okay, picture a caveman. Go on, you already know the guy. Hunched over, dragging his knuckles, going, ugh, ugh. Basically, a confused gym bro who hasn't invented sentences yet. And the story goes, one day, boom, somebody says the first word, and congratulations, humanity is unlocked. Yeah, about that. That whole story? Almost completely wrong. Because for hundreds of thousands of years, humans were sharing plans, warnings, even ideas. Way before they could say a single word. They weren't waiting around to become human. They already were human. They just did the whole thing without talking. But here's the part that drives scientists absolutely insane. You cannot dig up a sentence. Bones? Sure. Tools? Easy. Words? They vanish the second you say them. Gone. No fossils, nothing. So to hunt for language, scientists chase the weirdest clues ever. A tiny bone in the throat, a single gene, and monkey hands. Stick with me. And when do they think we started talking? Their best guesses range from 2 million years ago to 50,000. That's not a guess. That's a group project falling apart. So let's start with a weird question. What if talking didn't even start in the mouth? Watch monkeys long enough and you'll see it. They gesture, on purpose. Little hand signals, aimed right at each other. The starter pack for communication was already installed. And here's the mic drop. Sign language. Full grammar, full complexity, everything talking has, and zero sound. So a human with no words wasn't some broken half-person waiting for an upgrade. They could have been chatting the whole time. We were just imagining it wrong. The leading theories called gesture first. We talked with our hands for ages, and speech showed up later, partly to free the hands up for carrying stuff and making tools. So if the first conversations weren't spoken, plot twist, they might not have been quiet either. They might have been sung. Now this idea is harder to prove, and people still argue about it. But it came from Charles Darwin himself, and it just refuses to die. The idea? Before words meant anything, melody did. Pitch, rhythm, basically vibes. Sound that wasn't language yet, but was already more than ugh ugh. Think about it. A lullaby chills out a baby who doesn't know a single word. That stuff runs deep. Deep enough that it was probably here first. So picture the real scene. Not grunting. A bunch of humans around a fire, going full a cappella. Less cavemen, more the world's first band practice. Gesture. Song. A whole world of meaning. And still not one actual word. Which leaves the big one. When did words finally show up? Since melody and hand-waving don't fossilize either, scientists went straight for the body. Clue number 1. A little U-shaped bone in your throat called the hyoid. Find an old one shaped like ours, and maybe you found a throat built for talking. So they check Neanderthals, and boom, nearly identical to ours. Except, a bone only tells you the throat could work. It never tells you what actually came out of it. Cool. Thanks, bone. Clue 2. A gene. FOXP2. The internet once hyped it as the language gene, which, yeah, that was overblown. It's really just one of many genes involved in speech. And guess who also had a version of it? Neanderthals. Though honestly, the deeper scientists dig, the messier that story gets. Clue 3. The shape of the skull and throat. And it points the same spooky direction as the first two. That Neanderthals, a totally different kind of human, might have had the actual hardware to talk. Let that sit for a second. But here's the wall every clue smacks into. Hardware isn't the same as using it. A throat that can talk isn't a throat that did. We've got the anatomy. We've got zero of the words. The exact moment language switched on might be gone, forever. Not our fault. It was just never a thing you could save. And that's not a bummer. That's the actual frontier. But chasing it reveals something way bigger than a date. Because look at what these guys pulled off before words were even guaranteed. They tamed fire. They built complex tools. They hunted as a team and literally walked out of Africa and spread across the entire planet. Maybe all of it. Without saying a single word. So language didn't flip our human switch. We were already human, teaming up, building, surviving. Words were one of the last things we added, not the first. The grunting caveman? Never real. The truth's way weirder. We became human first, and only figured out how to say so later. Oh, and talking? That's not the only thing we got completely wrong about these people. There's a myth about what cavemen actually ate that's so baked in. You might have literally paid money for it. And that whole caveman diet thing? Yeah, it's about to fall apart too. That's next.